you said get fish to get to your fish, but you can't fish them. Back in the day, that wasn't a big deal. That was a big run, but
Okay, if you want to release me, maybe get a quick one.
Effectively,
I'm trying to get a quick one on.
they're going to face the same things today. Isn't conducive in all reality for these type of events, to be honest. I don't even know if he'll put that in his box. Let's see.
Oh. Oh. He's wanting to.
Yep, he's going to put it in his box. See, now, like a lot of guys wouldn't even keep that fish.
Right.
Because if it dies, you got to weigh it in.
Right.
Which it could die since it's been caught so deep. But he's going to throw it in his box and hopefully get rid of it here after a while.
That may be an important fish, though, at the end of the day,
well,
with the weather conditions we got coming in.
And, here's the thing.
So there's one of those chess moves right there.
Absolutely. Going back some years, we had an event on the California Delta, and my first fish of the day was a 12 and an eighth incher, right? And I said, I'm on the California Delta. I don't need this fish, and I threw it back.
Oh, my.
Right? So the tide was bad that day. It stayed out really low. It never came back in, and at the end of the day, I only had 4. And that one fish at the end of the day would have moved me up like 15 spots by one more pound. So I swore after that, anytime I ever caught a keeper, it was going in the box at least till I had 5.
Well, that's what I tell everybody. I mean, and I do the same thing. Heck, I worked hard to catch whatever fish I catch, so I put it in the box. But I have a lot of buddies that throw back a lot of small fish, especially here, because they don't want them to die.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, well, if you catch 4 or 5 pounders in that 1 pound and a half, that's 21 and a half pounds.
Exactly.
Which is better than 20 pounds. So you never know. You may fish for 3 hours and your boat may break or something, and you don't know what's going to happen. So
it's all a game of decisions.
Right. So it's I don't know. Obviously, Trey must be the first one fishing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to see somebody running across the lake right now.
So tell me what's going on, right? I mean, this is something that for those of us who don't fish for smallmouth a whole lot, but I know you guys and y'all like to fish shallow, and that say if you're coming up on a brush pile, you're coming up on a piling or whatever, that the largemouth are going to be a little looser today. But what you're telling me is that smallmouth are going to be tighter.
They go to the bottom.
Why is that?
I don't know if that's because the sunlight and they can't see, because obviously they're sight feeders. So they go to the bottom because the stuff that's crawling on the bottom.
Is this everywhere, or is this just in the Great Lake?
It's at Lake Champlain. It's at Lake St. Clair.
Yeah.
It's up here. I mean, because a lot of times guys will be like, man, it's cloudy and it's dead slick. Man, today's a great topwater day.
Right. But they're on the bottom.
It's not nearly, if it's sunny and slick versus cloudy and slick, you're going to get 20 times more bites like on a topwater when it's sunny and slick than you ever would when it's cloudy.
Here's what I noticed this week, which kind of goes against everything I think about shallow smallmouth is, typically when it's sunny out, them big giant rogue smallmouth, they get up there, they cruise, looking for crawfish, whatever that may be. Maybe they're cold and they just want to get up there and sun themselves because the water's typically cold up here. So typically when it's sunny up there, shallow is really good. What I noticed this week, especially in the river, is in low light conditions, the smallmouth were everywhere crawling around shallow. Like that first 2 hours of the morning was unbelievable. Like the bladed jig bite, the shallow bite was really, really good. Like yesterday morning, I caught what I weighed in like the first 30 minutes. And then it got high and sunny, and that shallow bite died, where typically it gets better. I'd really like to be out there today in this low sky to see how good that shallow bite was. But typically, like Kobe said, when it's cloudy out, they go to the bottom. They're sight fishermen, or they're visual feeders. They see a long way in this clean water, and when it gets low like this, I think they just gets them out of their comfort zone. They just go to the bottom.
Right.
Well, I feel like going to the bottom right now. It's raining here.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to take a break and come back here in a little bit with Bill Lowen and Kobe Krieger. I hope you'll stay with us, but we need to take a break, let some of the sponsors wave their arms on this cloudy morning and rainy morning in Waddington. It is not raining a drop right there.
No, it's raining. The guys out in the lake, I guarantee you're getting
Well,
wet.
I mean, he's not getting rained on. He's not getting rained on. McKinney's not getting rained on. So that's the way it is in New York. It's like living on the coast. 3 miles down the beach, it's a total different day. So stay with us here on the Live Mix. We'll be right back.
For the fisherman who demands the best, Atlas delivers. Because every move counts. More winners choose Atlas.
In a world where adventure meets innovation, where the thrill of the open water is met with the cutting edge of technology, introducing the all-new Skeeter Command Center, seamlessly integrated, effortlessly connected. Stay informed, stay in control, and command your dominance.
Out here, it takes a certain type. The type who's always the first one out. The type who knows, deep down, everyone else is just fishing for second. Enter the Apex Series. See more fish. Seize more victories. Settle for nothing less. With unrivaled clarity, it's the top fish finder for the most demanding type of angler. Only from Humminbird. Gear that just plain works. Cast after cast after cast. AFTCO. Any fish, any water.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graph mounts up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products, and remember, you can't beat a beatdown.
When there's miles of water in front of you and hundreds of feet below, you need a boat with the chops to dominate, no matter the conditions. With the strength and technology to overcome the elements and the competition. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time.
In 2009, it all started with this 721 Pro XP and a passion to build the best fishing platform in design, performance, and construction for all of our customers. Through the years, motors have changed. Electronics have changed. But the passion to build the best bass boat possible has not changed. Everyone at Phoenix believes we got it right the first time.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan, so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
Hey, Big Rig, keep clocking in miles, pulling that horn, making us smile, rolling that load down the road all night long, country on. Hey, cowboy, keep slinging that rope, eating that dirt, wearing that gold, break a leg rodeo, but just don't break no bones, country on, country on and on and on and on.
Looks like we got some guys that are starting to catch them. You know, a lot of the guys are still running. We can almost kind of tell who maybe stepped it back and didn't go to the lake. Drew Benton, one of them here, not fishing too far from takeoff.
Yep.
It looks like we got, 4 or 5 guys that are already fishing, and most of the other guys are probably still running. You're at least an hour and a half to get basically to the mouth of the river. Like we said, depending on how far guys are going out into the lake. So, yeah.
Well, and I think, like we talked earlier, Drew Benton was fishing obviously in the lake the last 2 days, and today I'm sure he said, I'm not going to the lake, and he's going to fish in the river, become a river rat like me and you were the last couple days. Take his check and go to the house.
Well, there was some good bags caught in the river.
Oh,
tremendous.
I mean, Keith Combs is on top of the leaderboard right now. I know he's fishing in the river.
Right.
I mean, he's caught 4 bass this morning. He's got 13 pounds or so. And he's been fishing the river the last couple of days. So, with the changing weather conditions, that may play right into Keith's hands, because a lot of guys may be subject to the river where they haven't even practiced since we had a limited practice event. And if they've been in the lake for the last 2 days and now they're coming to the river, I mean, they're just going fishing.
Well, and a lot of guys, we've been here so many times that they have a lot of history on the river. They know exactly where, if there's a fish there, they're going to be able to pull up and get a bite.
Have y'all talked to Keith on how he's getting his bite?
I've talked to him yesterday.
Is he cranking?
And, he may be doing that a little bit, but he's predominantly fishing shallow. He figured out how to make that shallow bite work. And Keith does good fishing up here shallow when we come.
Yep.
This is, like we said, we got a lot of history here. So some of the guys that may not be able to go to the lake and fish have somewhere where they can go catch one. I've never been anywhere in the country, though, where weather affects the way this river works, like with the current.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's days when the wind blows, the current's ripping in the river. There's days the current in this river has a lot to do with how the fish set up, and it changes every single day. And there's days out there where the current's ripping, and there's days out there when there's no current at all. So here we are with
G and Johnson.
Back where they started, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. They're talking about something, don't know what they're saying.
They're saying we can't keep our trolling motor in the water.
Chris Johnson's hand gestures doesn't seem to be, it's not.
How big was that one? 5?
Conversation.
Really?
Was that a 5-pounder?
Y'all can't hear him?
Yeah, I think he's asking if that was a 5-pounder. So
did Chris Johnson catch a 5-pounder?
Yeah, that's broke one off.
Robert G just broke one off, so they're getting bites. I don't think we got
Haven't got a tracker update or anything yet.
No, not yet.
There's Chris.
Let's refresh this. That place must have 5-pounders swimming all over it,
G broke one off. Somebody caught a 5-pounder. I don't know if it was G. They would know on live if it was G. They didn't. Either one of them, they know.
Well, they get to see that on FS1,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So wherever they're fishing, I'm going to think Trey McKinney's really close to this area too. To be honest with you, because that island in the back, I think, is the.
They're at the mouth there.
So I think that's Carlton Island.
That's where they were yesterday when G was catching them.
And if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago when we hear Chris Johnson or Corey, they both fished this area, and one of them may have won the tournament.
There you go.
Carlton. Yeah, there's Johnson. Yep,
yeah.
They're all right there.
McKinney.
So see that island behind them? If I was fishing, that's where I'd be. I'd be over there on that bank.
Trying to find a lay down?
Well, no, throwing current seams or drops or eddies and stuff in the river. If I'd be able to go out there in the middle and go backwards, I'd have a shot up here. Which, hey, I was pretty proud of myself yesterday. I was struggling and up there north of or I guess not north, but
Big
south
shakes, dude.
West of the bridge in Ogdensburg. I went on a couple of my old waypoints history like we talked about a few minutes ago, and caught one of my biggest fish, dragon, within 10 minutes. So I drug there for another 40 minutes and never had another bite.
Right. Well, you talk about fishing shallow.
Right.
We just saw Trey lose one, but I love coming up here this time of the year because the shallow bite is typically phenomenal.
Yep.
Last year when we were here, I had 23 and a half the first day, 25 and a half the second day.
Right.
And then the third day I had 11 pounds.
Hit him right, everything.
The conditions changed, the current changed. But typically I love it because the shallow bite is so good. And it just wasn't that good this year for whatever reason. I don't know if we've had
in the areas
hotter summer.
Right.
It
areas
seems
out
like
there where you fished at.
A lot of the places got a lot more grass on them, and it seems like this time around there's been a lot of guys catching fish in that 30 to 60 foot depth range.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't hear of guys catching them that deep, but it seems like this time around,
Do you have that
lot-
much strain on your?
just barely enough, just barely enough.
But what is weird to me? Why would you pull up in 60 feet of water? Because it's basically the bottom is going to be flat. It's just flat. There may be an occasional rock or whatever on the bottom, but even when you graph it or look at it, there's really nothing there. Basically, you're just pulling up, and they use these cans on the river as markers, in my opinion, because it's a known fact that you can float by almost any can and have a chance of catching a fish just because of the chain hanging off of the can.
Right.
So I don't know if they go upstream of these cans and start floating backwards and see what happens. I really don't know. But just to pull up in a random place that's 60 foot of water and go backwards just seems really weird.
That's the thing about smallmouth. It seems like they do stuff that we can't explain. I had a spot here, I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 years ago. We put the boat in from the campground we're staying at down at Lisbon Beach, and we didn't run a mile out, maybe a half a mile, and my phone rings. It was a phone call I had to take. So I stop, answer the phone, right? Fisher hops up on the front deck, drops the trolling motor, and we're no contours, we're no nothing. It's 40-something foot deep. He throws it out and starts drifting while I'm on the phone.
Right.
He catches a 5-pounder. He lets it go, throws back out there, catches a 4.5-pounder. Lets it go, throws back out there, catches another 4.5-pounder, and I'm like, we're not on anything. There's no rock, there's no sand, no nothing. So yesterday I ran over to that spot and seen just, hey, maybe they're here again. Well,
exactly.
Never got a bite, but like you said, there's places on this river, and I'm sure it's got to do with the way the current comes around, something, just whatever.
And what's on the bottom. If you drop an actual camera down there, which a lot of us have, which I have, which I was going to do some of that, but with only 2 days of practice, I didn't get to do any of that. Just to see what is on the bottom.
Absolutely.
Because back in the day, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago or 25 years ago, when I lived up north on a Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie, you didn't really even have to fish. You could just get on a drift, put a camera down, and if you drifted a line and you saw 10 smallmouth and you went back up to start your drift again, if you drifted through there, you're going to catch 7 of them.
Yep.
I mean, then you got to see the size of them, see how big they were, and all that kind of stuff. And that was before, souped up electronics that we have nowadays that you can sort of do that with.
You can still catch them that way, can't you?
I don't know if you can or not.
Drifted?
I don't know if you can or not.
Yeah.
Because nobody does it.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm probably one of the only competitors out of the 101 that we had here this week that has a drift sock in their boat. Because that's back in the day, that's how we used to fish.
It's hooked up again.
So did you get your drift sock out?
I never did. Well, I've got it out and put it back in my truck. Chris Johnson's the one who caught that 5-pounder. So he's
Yep.
he's moved up. So.
I guess Trey's fixing to hop in the water.
Oh, to be young again.
Oh my goodness.
That'd be right over the side. Did he lose that
Yep,
again?
He did.
Oh, no.
That's like number 3, I think he's lost.
Need to have a little more seriousness go on there.
Oh, come on.
So
next time,
what does that do to you? I mean, I know what it does to me. I'm just saying, at this level, come on.
So he's usually, when you watch him on camera, he's usually pretty, carefree and gets him on and he's talking and everything.
Another big one.
But sometimes there's
Right? Who needs those?
no need for that. We need to get serious. We got a fish hooked up. We need to fight it
This is
regularly. And
honestly
you
just
tell
mesmerizing.
him he's bothered a little bit now, and he's talking to himself, and he's saying, as long as I don't get jacked up and everything, which he's getting a little jacked up, but he'll be all right. He'll bounce back. I mean, he's a young kid. Next 5-pounder he gets on, gets in there, he'll be fine.
Getting my 5 bites.
He's talking about making an adjustment right now and going smaller, so I'm assuming he's thinking that they're just not getting his bait very good, and maybe he's going to downsize that a little bit.
Right.
I had a lot of bites this week where, it feels like a really good bite. You get a ton of pressure, you set the hook, and it rips the bait off the and it was obvious if you went to something a little smaller that you started to catch those fish.
Miss them on a drop
Okay.
shot. Ever hardly.
Well, we're going to let him make his adjustments. We need to make an adjustment. We're going to have to go to a commercial break And Matt Herron's telling me that he can't believe I got 2 old guys on the show this morning, and we're watching a young guy. So maybe I need.
So
we're going to go to a sponsor break, but really it's just a rest time for the old guys. So stay with us, and we'll have Bill and Kobe all rested up for the final segment of the live mix at Humminbird Bassmaster Elite here at St. Lawrence. Stay with us. We'll be back here in a minute or two.
Casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
That's a big one. Yep, good one. That's so cool. It don't get any better than that.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
The newest addition to the Basscat STS family is here. Introducing the Caracal STS, showcasing aggressive styling, paired with enhanced performance and a continued dedication to raising the bar. Measuring in at 20 feet 2 inches with an ultra-wide 96-inch beam and rated for a 250 to 300 horsepower engine, the Caracal STS boasts agility and speed and is finished with premium features to satisfy any angler. Basscat Boats. Feel the rush.
Essential is defined as an item that is absolutely necessary. Spro has a long history of understanding the essential lures an angler needs, and now they've made it easy for fishermen to pick up essential fishing lures, those that are absolutely necessary, with the creation of the Spro Essential lineup of lures. Find the Spro Essential series at your favorite tackle dealer, or look them up on the Spro website.
We've innovated one of the most popular techniques right now, and that's the jigging minnow. This is a new style of bait with a cup belly. No one's doing it, and we're really excited to bring this to you. What it does is it has random darting action when you twitch it. It also spirals down. Those are two types of actions that smallmouth really love. Those fish that otherwise wouldn't commit, those ones are gonna bite because they haven't seen this before.
Nitro, a rush of tournament adrenaline. Nitro, the choice of champion, where performance meets play. Nitro, a big water beast, a pure fishing machine. Nitro, release the champion within.
In the world of smallmouth bass fishing, success lies in the details. Finesse presentations require light line for maximum bait action, triggering strikes in clear waters. And dealing with big smallmouth in their environment, it means your line has to deliver. Trust products like AMZ, Assegai, and Overwatch, matched with FC Leader, V-Heart, and FC Sniper for a fishing arsenal that delivers. Sunline, the strength to guarantee your confidence.
Think you know fishing? Time to prove it. Bassmaster has 2 fantasy games giving you even more opportunities to win. Play Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing and the Falcon Rods Bassmaster Drain the Lake Challenge for a chance to win some great prizes, including a $15,000 shopping spree at Bass Pro Shops, a trip to the 2025 Classic, or a fishing trip with Luke Palmer. Every tournament is a chance to win, and there's more than $90,000 in prizes to be won in 2024. You can't win if you don't play, plus it's free. For details, sign up and play all season. Visit BassmasterFantasy.com.
Each Camus boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. Camus stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a Camus boat is about more than fishing. Camus Boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
More than a simple spy, the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams are your covert analysts in the field. SD card free, built-in memory. Onboard Moultrie AI for false trigger reduction. Cloud-based AI for detailed tagging and filtering. You don't just get high-resolution photos and videos. You get access to our easy-to-use app, arming you with game plan, weather forecasts, and mapping, so you know when and where to hunt. Don't just capture images. Gather intelligence.
All right, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. Looks like we got some updates going on here. Looks like we're looking at Angler of the Year standings currently, and Chris Johnson has taken over the lead. He's got 3 fish for 12 pounds. Trey McKinney's in third. He's got 2 for 5. We're starting to see some of these guys catch some big fish.
Robert G has caught him a 5.6 and is in lead on the leaderboard. And we know that Robert G and Chris Johnson could hit each other with a half-ounce jig right now.
Right, exactly.
Very easy.
And it looks like some of the guys are just now getting settled in, maybe finally getting to where they wanted to go.
Right. And it doesn't look as bad as what I was expecting.
Well, you're not looking at the lake. You're still looking at the river.
Looking at, okay.
That's the river.
That's pretty bad in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's that bad in the river, you then times it by a lot if you're in the lake.
Yeah, 23 mile an hour out of the south. They'll be big as you ever wanted to be in, especially here as the day progresses and goes on.
Well, did y'all get rested up in that last break?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so
absolutely.
The old guys can finish this out.
Oh, not without a problem.
Okay, just want to make sure. I'm sure Matt Herring.
He's always got to be piping in about something.
We got up early this morning, and the thing is, you try to sleep in. When you don't make the cut, well, you can't sleep in. There's no sleeping in.
4 o'clock, you're ready to go.
Yeah. So, and I think Bill and I know myself, and when Bill leaves here, he's heading to Minnesota.
Leech Lake for the Open.
So,
are you fishing? Nope.
Yeah, GPS says 20 hours, so that's going to be
2 days.
25-ish, yeah. So I'll miss 2 days of practice for sure. And we'll see what happens when we get over there. Ought to be fun when we get there. So.
Should be.
Yeah, so he's got they're all in.
Well, I mean, all of you guys get put in these positions at some point in time. Chris Johnson, like I said, had the worst day that he's ever had up here. I'm not sure it's his worst day ever, but probably feels like that. And he's bounced back. How important is that bounce back for your psyche and just your emotional state of mind?
He's bounced back at the moment, so
right.
he's still got a lot of work to do. He's gonna, I don't know how far out of the top 10 he was. He's like 17 points or something behind, I think, in AOY, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really remember. But anyways, he's gonna have to finish near the top 10, to win AOY, if I'm correct. So, but he's struggling to fish the way he wants to fish with the wind blowing and out there where he's at. Obviously, he's got Robert G in his hip pocket, catching 5-pounder after 5-pounder. So, but I think he's up to the task.
Well, if anybody can do it, it's going to be him for sure. We keep talking about him having an off day or maybe the worst day he had on the water, and like we said earlier, bass fishing is all about decisions, right? And when it's going good, you make right decisions. It seems like everything you do works, but boy, when it's bad, you can't do anything right. You know what I mean? You can't even tie your shoes right when that's going bad. But when he's like today, he's catching them, making good decisions. Maybe he feels like he's going to be a dangerous one out there today.
Well, and one good thing, and I don't know, with the wind the way it is today, that may help him in his decisions because he can honestly say, well, X spot, that spot, this spot's not going to be good.
There's Robert G with one.
Yep, Robert G's got another one.
Probably another 5-pounder.
So that could keep Chris. Well, he hugged it, so you know it's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
So that'll give him. Is that 5 now, or is that?
Looks like it's going to be 3 for him.
314.
Let's see what he says. He says 314.
Oh, that's a little guy. Heck, I would have.
Just throw that one back.
Yeah, I would have been. I mean, if I would have caught that yesterday, I would have been ecstatic. He's like, 314. It'll go on the little fish side. But
on the little fish side.
Today, that may be, all he needs.
We've shown him fizzing one right now. Pretty important, especially when you're catching them deep. To do this right here, I would highly recommend learning how to do this if you're going to catch them deep.
He needs to put his hand on that head.
Yeah. So I tried to fizz a fish one time. It didn't go too well.
We always talk about catching them deep and that they need to be fizzed. I've had to fizz fish that I catch shallow. You know what I mean? Right. I think that they fight so hard that they just build up pressure. And, you catch a 5-pounder in 3 foot of water and look in there and he'd be floating upside down.
Yeah, I'm a non-fizzer.
Non-fizzer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I fizzed one fish one time right down there. Not very far from here. And it didn't go well. And I missed the cut by one.
Regardless of what you're going to do, if you're going to fizz them, use fin clips.
Yep.
You got to take some kind of precaution.
I put fin clips on mine, which it's probably not the best. I know some people, and this is what I find really unique, they ice their live wells down really good. Like almost puts the fish in like a coma state or whatever it is. And when they put them back in the water, they're like brand new.
Right.
So it's a unique situation. I guess it slows their metabolism way down or whatever it does.
Well, I think it's interesting because I'm being an old guy, being Matt Herron, being an old guy. To the extent that you guys take care of the fish today, that's totally foreign concepts. 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's wonderful that these guys learn how to fizz. And of course, we have them do mandatory classes for those of you who are listening. That, if you're a rookie, your first year up here, you have to go to a mandatory class to learn how to do that. And we offer those refresher courses for everybody. But, just that, the ice in the wells, the live well systems in the boats. There is a ton of stuff that takes place right now. And remembering when catch and release started becoming the deal and how just hard that was to get over that hurdle, and now to go to all these other limiters. I mean, how many guys do you think have additional aeration, type things in their boat that are not stock on a boat?
Well, I know a lot of people that live up north that fish on the Great Lakes or deep water and everything. A lot of people carry an oxygen bottle,
right?
100%. So they pump oxygen into their tanks somehow or another. A lot of people came up with a cooler system that recirculates the water through like a refrigerator type of deal that keeps the water a lot colder than normal. So in the last 4 or 5, 6, 8 years, there's been a lot of innovation into the live well system, for that reason. I know a lot of guys way back in the day. Chris Johnson hooked up here.
I'm gonna take my headset off and let. So if you hear somebody chime in, it's Matt Herron.
With their live
we
well,
don't need any of that.
What they did with their live well is
good one.
they put a hose like 10 foot down in the water to suck that water instead of the surface water. So there's other things that people have done.
Well, I mean, them fish are our precious cargo.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And like we were saying, we have taken every precaution to get those fish in live and get them back into the water.
So you see Chris here with this fish, which is a great big one, looks like. So let me tell you, if you watch him fish, he's making a lot more casts than a lot of the guys that we've watched earlier. So, he's pumped up. I mean, it's
missing half a gill plate.
4+ pounder for sure. So the Johnson boys, talk about icers. They're extreme icers in their live well. And what that does is it slows down the fish's metabolism, for what I've learned, and they basically go dormant in your live well. And they turn upside down, just like they do. And as soon as they hit that back in the water, they're gone like a rocket. So it's actually pretty neat. Greg Hackney's has learned from them. That's what he does with his live well. So I know a little bit about it, what he does. I've always been afraid. I'd always think I'm freezing.
Right, shock them.
Yeah, but Greg says, he'll have ice. He'll have, like, Swindle goes to an ice bath, after the tournament. That's basically what they do with their fish. They put them in an ice bath. They turn them upside down, and then they throw them back, and they're lively as ever.
I want to go back. I'm chiming in here. 20 years ago, we made the comment about the revolutions and all the changes we made in fish care. But you got to remember, 20 years ago, we were fishing with monofilament, and 12 foot was deep.
Yeah.
And now we're fishing with braid and fluorocarbon leader. Would you ever dream we'd come to the Great Lakes and fish 50, 60 feet of water? It's insane.
Yeah. That last fish Chris caught he put it in as a 5-pounder. Now he's in second place in the tournament and obviously leading AOY race.
It's going to be interesting. Like I said before we started, it's going to be a shake-up today for sure. Weather's going to change so many people's game plan. And Chris has got, like we said, so much knowledge of the river. He knows where he can and can't go. But it looks like where they're at right now is full of 5-pounders. It's kind of makes me wonder how long it can hold up.
Right. And you have, we're fishing the biggest playground this week than we have all year long. And you got first and second place fishing 20 yards apart.
Right.
Think about that. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
It's a community hole for a reason.
Right, and it's not
because it's good.
And it's not only those two. There's several others around the area doing the same thing. So obviously, there's a lot of fish.
Yeah, I think Trey McKinney's there.
Yep.
We saw Brian New pull up.
Brian New was there. That's at least in this. If I'm not mistaken, I know Kyle Patrick caught an 8-pounder in practice, and I think he caught it relatively close to right here, from what I've been told. Right. So.
Them are giants.
Yeah. And I don't know if these are the fish. Chris is hooked up again. I don't know if these are the fish, because like at St. Clair, it doesn't look like that one's very big. At St. Clair, the fish come out of the lake and they move up the river in the fall. So I don't know if that's what's happening here. These fish come in out of the river or out of the lake and they move up the river. Here this time of year, obviously this is one of the first places they're going to stop and maybe feed up and then continue on, farther up the river on a flat or something. So.
Yeah, it's getting that time of the year. Won't be long. There'll be ice coming down this thing. It looks like he's got another good one.
So if you were to fish, if you come up here in 3 weeks, you could throw a jerk bait, and when you catch one, it's going to have 20 or so with it. That didn't happen to me all week. Everything I caught was all singles. That's another big one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
to watch Chris and Corey fight smallmouth, they're totally different than anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm walking around playing with them, and he's like he's got a flipping stick. They don't jack with him.
Yeah.
Keep the pressure on him, Matt.
I tried, and they pull off, and they straightened my hook, and
I've heard him cry so much about all the big ones he loses, and he's went through rods and hooks. And
here we go.
Well, Chris Johnson, so I'm not sure what his target weight is today, like going out, if it was, to get back into the top 10, because I don't know where he I mean, he was in.
Is that 3 competitors? We got a side shot here. We got G hooked up.
He's hooked up.
And there's somebody on the other side of G.
That's a photographer boat.
Is that a photographer boat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Chris has got 4 for 17.
This should be number 5, correct?
Yeah, I think Chris went back to fizz those fish is what it looked like he tried when he went back to the well.
Let's see how big this one is.
G's going to do the old belly hug.
I'm betting a 5-pounder.
Which is I want to know when we're going to see Robert G with a sandwich, because you hardly ever see him out on the boat without a sandwich, whether it's a Chick-fil-A they got delivered at Smith Lake or.
Yeah, look at the size of that thing.
There you go. That's impressive.
They're in casting distance. Oh, update. Sorry.
That's what we're looking at.
I'm looking
here.
around. We got people walking everywhere. Just had 3 kids walk by here with fishing poles.
Robert G's last fish hasn't came up yet.
Yeah.
So.
Chris's hasn't went in either,
Yeah.
I don't believe.
They're catching them so fast they can't keep track.
See what Robert says this fish is.
Man, we got Eye of the Tiger done walked into the house and a Louisiana boy. And, man, we just having us a big old
Party
shindig this morning.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You see Robert G's boat, Chris Johnson right by, first and second place fishing right in each other's hip pocket.
Yeah, right next to one another. Drew Benton, we know he didn't make the run to the lake. He stayed in the river.
And the other leader this morning, haven't even seen him put anything on the scoreboard yet, which would be Corey Johnson. He's still got 0. I don't know if he's still running. I don't know how far he's going.
He's probably running to Buffalo, New York this morning.
Jacob Faust has got, I think.
1 for 2.8.
Okay, his thing's been sort of jacked up all morning. His Hayes said he had a 14-ouncer, but obviously they fixed that. So,
yep.
It's interesting.
It's definitely going to be an interesting
I'm sort of surprised that Corey Johnson hasn't had a fish on the bass tracks yet.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder how long that place can hold up, or if they're just going to stay there and beat on them all day.
Well, I would say that Robert G's not going anywhere for sure.
I don't see any problem with it holding up. I mean, you're dealing with the largest group of smallmouth in the world, man. I mean, it's Mother Nature protects that area because there's only so many days a year that those get fished.
Yeah, and today will be. They're all in. Robert G ain't going anywhere. I don't think he went anywhere yesterday, probably.
Right. What's
Chris Johnson knows what's there. He ain't going nowhere either.
What's our weather forecast for tomorrow looking like?
I think it's supposed to be still windy.
Still going to be blowing again
still
tomorrow?
Windy tomorrow. Cloudy, sunny? Yeah. I think it's supposed to be windy again tomorrow.
Windy and cloudy or sunny?
I don't know about the rain here. When I looked on the radar this morning, was supposed to be out of here like at 11 o'clock.
Right.
So if that's the case, it's probably going to be sunny and windy, I would assume.
All right. Well, it's that time of day where we are going to make a switch, and we typically try to look really professional doing this with a switcher, but the switchers in Little Rock having a problem. So
that's okay.
Kennedy and Logan, y'all just go ahead and up there and swap it either side with them boys.
Hey,
we're going to do it right here on the air.
We gotta.
Hey, I'm donating my jersey to you this morning.
Yep.
For the
Bass Fishing Hall of Fame.
Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. I appreciate everything that you guys strive to do there, and so it'll be up on auction. Hopefully, somebody will give you $5, or hopefully you don't have to pay somebody to take it. So it will be on auction one day.
Krieger, I'm buying your jersey.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all for coming. was doing all the catching. Today, they're both catching them, So it's kind of interesting to see if you look at the standings. And one of the things that we keep an eye on Bass Track, especially in a race like this, is if you go to the far right, you'll see the AOY average, and you got Chris Johnson moved back into first place. Of course, Jacob Faust is showing 2 fish for 1 pound 3 ounces, which is a total impossibility on this area. But he still got plenty of room to grow.
Right. I don't know how long it took him to get
happen.
where he's fishing. So yeah, that plays into it. But,
he didn't knock that much weight off those fish though.
But yeah, you're talking about Chris. Chris is the guy that's in control of his own destiny.
100%.
Right. So he's in 31st place. A lot of the guys are already maxed out in points. So
right.
Corey's leading. He can't move up. Trey was in 5th. He can only move up 5 points.
Right.
Fouts was in 9th. So yeah, he can't move up 9. So yeah, Chris can jump them all if he can make the top 10, and I think he needs about a 5th, and he locks it up. So
if he's in the top 15 and Faust doesn't go any higher,
right.
than 9th,
I mean, if Fouts falters, but yeah, even if Fouts wins, if Chris is in the top 5, I think he locks it up. So he controls his own destiny here. He's the only guy that does.
That's pretty scary having Chris behind you on this body of,
Yeah, you would have thought that yesterday. And yet he had his way. Imagine that, an angler having a bad day on her home water. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. But Chris has had, 20 days of competition days here, never been out of the top 10, ever, until yesterday.
And
I'm going to take my headset off and give it to Matt Herron, and he's going to kind of guide you boys through this process. Let's pay attention to that AOY and of course, what they're doing. And some of the conversations this morning have been about how cloudy weather really changes the smallmouth, and it's not nearly as cloudy down there as it is up here. If you'll look, you can see some breaks in the clouds.
Yeah, the front is passed through to some degree. So, we're not up to date on what everybody's doing. I've been fishing shallow all week, so I hadn't been able to watch all this as part of our rules. So. This is the first for me, seeing what they're doing.
Yeah, I made the run to the lake every day. It's like a lot of the guys going out there, it's pretty much 2 hours one way after you get gas for a lot of guys. So I know like Caleb and a lot of them guys going out there, they probably just getting to fishing.
Yes, depending on how far out they're going.
Right.
It was
and like the wind's not blowing here, but obviously it's blowing out there, so I'm sure the lake's rough. Take you a little longer to get out there.
Yeah, I got behind some guys at the gas pump, so it took me 2 hours and 15, 20 minutes before I made my first cast out there. But
yeah,
had a lot of company. Fish disappeared. I ended up fishing next to Clifford Purge. He said that was the biggest school of fish he's ever seen, and he didn't catch them. I ended up catching a limit out there, but they weren't wasn't what I was expecting. So had to go scrambling shallow.
I know they gotten smart out there. For me, anyway, a lot of them nosed down on it and wouldn't eat. Had that a lot the first day and a lot more the second day, or pressure or what.
So yeah, I'm up there fishing shallow out on the lake, and I can usually catch those fish on that fly deal, and I bet I threw it 50 fish and never got one to go. They've seen that deal a few times. But then second day I caught 2 or 3 on it, so caught 2 on it.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, after my terrible day 1, I decided to stay around and fish here local on some of the stuff where you should have been.
Nice.
And I didn't get on it till the last hour and caught right at 20 and lost 2 5-pounders. And they moved up in a foot of water. And I was literally sight fishing with a jig. You could lead them like bonefish and just wreck them.
Catch them. So yeah, I should have. Anyway, trying to do too much coming into the event. I said it last week that you got to go to the lake to win. Those fish you caught still won't win this tournament. So yeah, I was committed to fishing out there and tried to do too much, and it cost me. I could have definitely caught more than what I did just staying here and fishing what I normally fish. So yeah, a top 10 the first time we were here, one particular area, probably where he's talking about. And I stopped on the way up. I caught a 4-pounder my first stop. I think one of our guys that's still fishing here stopped on my second one, and then third one I missed one. I missed another 4+, and then I ran to the lake. So,
well, I wouldn't have stayed here yesterday if I hadn't had such a poor day one.
Right.
And it's Brandon, Brandon Cobb and I were on the same fish on day one, and we were both standing in the weighing line shaking our head because in practice it was we were down toward the lake. We were almost to Clayton, fishing some super deep fish, and we really both thought it would be easy to catch 20 pounds. And I'm not going to the lake. I've got a bum elbow, and I ain't no way I'm going. And I thought 20 pounds a day would be fine. And you can look, Scott Canterbury caught 40 pounds and 4 ounces, and he went home. So even the 20-pound-a-day theory, I thought, that would survive. No. No.
Not here.
No.
What we got going on?
I don't know. We got
tornado siren.
Yeah, that's from the south. That's a tornado warning siren. But up here, it's just a civil defense siren, and it goes off about 10 times a day. It goes off at break time, lunchtime,
You've been hearing it all week. I haven't heard it. I've been on the other end down there. I've been 80 or 90 miles down there at least, if not 100, 120.
We was talking about the shallow bite and not being able to compete. Keith Combs is sitting in 4th place. And, guys, I will promise you, he can see the bottom wherever he's fishing. And every time we've came here, Keith has made a top 10. I told him, we were talking yesterday after the weigh-in, and I told him, I said, Robert G's hooked up again.
Hooked up.
Yeah, and Keith absolutely loves this place. I mean, he loves to power fish it with a jerk bait and the things that he does, and, man, he's sitting up there high again. And I can tell from the bend of that rod, Robert G's hooked up with another 5-pounder. Gotta be.
No doubt. There's 100 5-pounders where he's at, maybe more.
I saw the videotape last night. I was sitting there looking at some social media stuff and the drop and him throwing his minnow out off of it, and I'm looking at him lined up, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
My gosh, how many of them are down there?
One of the biggest community holes on the river. It's crazy.
It's a community hole for a reason, boys.
No doubt.
And how many times do we rule them out because everybody knows about it?
Tournaments are still one there.
And I don't have a clue where this is, so.
I'll tell you my age. The very first time that I ever fished a Bassmaster Invitational, I drew Rick Clun at Eufaula. And he made the comment to me, and it always stuck with me, and it's really kind of caused me troubles. But he was right back then. Wherever a tournament was won in the past, if we went there the year before, you could rule that out because they would wreck it. Well, it don't work on the St. Lawrence because they're wrecking them there again. And that's another 5-pounder or 4-pounder.
A biggin.
It's a biggin.
That is gorgeous fish.
Look at that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I'm going to turn this thing over to Steven.
Let's hear tell me what he says he's got there. Once we do that, we need to go to a break. What'd he say?
Or something, but you're talking when he said it. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the way it always works.
I know.
So 4 something. He's getting close to having his limit, and he's already got a pretty good lead on Johnston. So
yeah, he's going to go ahead and fizz this fish.
Fizzing the fish.
Yeah.
We're going to let him take that and do that, and we come back. We'll be back with Steve Kennedy and Logan Latuso with Matt Herron sticking around in the background. So stay with us here at the Humminbird Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence, and this is the Live Mix, the Angler Show. Stay with us.
But the Eagle was. With enhanced auto-tuning sonar, IPS screens, detailed charting, and an easy and reliable installation. Meet Eagle from Lowrance. Fish finding's about to get a whole lot easier.
Introducing the most powerful Tacoma ever.
Shut the front
with
door!
the shut the front door handle. Also known as the Seriously Wrong handle.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Or the Whoa, 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 whoa handle. and even
No me gusta.
the No Me Gusta handle. Standard on the all-new Toyota Tacoma.
FXR is synonymous with legendary quality. For over 25 years, FXR has been dedicated to creating cutting-edge power sports apparel. But after extensive research, development, and testing, FXR took on the challenge of the fishing industry. Now collaborating with some of the sport's most elite anglers, this has fueled the development of a new collection that not only looks good, but is also highly functional on the water. Experience the all-new FXR Pro Fish collection for yourself online at fxrracing.com or in person at a retailer near you.
It's the moment when everything is on the line and precision, power, and control make all the difference. A moment over 20 years in the making, anchored on loyalty, trust, and support that goes beyond all expectations. A relentless pursuit of perfection. All born from a revolutionary idea to help you rule the water. Power Pole.
A lot of our customers are guys that are sitting in a takeoff every Saturday morning and using their AVX as a platform to go win some serious money.
This is not your grandpa's old aluminum boat.
Of course, with the Vexus, I was expecting a good ride. I was not expecting to be as smooth as it was and as quick out of the hole.
It comes out of the hole like butter. It shoots just like a bullet. It takes waves amazing. You can't tell the difference between a fiberglass and an aluminum.
It's a boat that's going to surprise the heck out of you.
We're all sick of those deep voice industry buzzwords. Let's actually talk about something fun. Swim baits. The issue is it's intimidating for most anglers to gain confidence in throwing something this big. At Clutch Swim Bait Company, our social media posts, our videos, and our website is all dedicated to helping you, the angler, gain confidence in throwing these big baits. Beginner to advanced, we provide you the products and resources to help you catch more game-changing fish. If you'd like to take your swim bait fishing to the next level, check us out on social media or at clutchswimbaitco.com.
Reliability. Yamaha is known for it. And it's something boaters value, because these days, few things are built to last. When we find something that is, we hold on to friendships, traditions, outboards, because every second on the water is sacred. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters choose Yamaha for the long run, for life, because reliability starts here.
What if you decided to compete, to truly be a serious competitor? To go against all others? Or are you so focused that everything else seems to just disappear? So, are you ready to compete? Compete?
Don't give up.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities in 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
Welcome back to the live mix here at the Humminbird Bassmaster Elite at the St. Lawrence River. This is the Angler Show. We got Steve Kennedy and Logan Latuso we're all watching these guys. We got two guys up the top of the leaderboard that are like within a half a cast from each other, and one's got 21 pounds, the other's got probably 21 pounds. Chris Johnston and Robert G. They're fishing the same place as they were, and there's Jacob Fouts, who's making a run towards the AOY. These guys are mostly at the on those islands at the mouth of the river going into Lake Ontario, and there's Jacob there. He's a little bit further up, closer to Clayton, I guess. But they're tucking in there behind these islands. You know, you understand? You see where they are.
I see where
now.
they are this time. Yeah. So they're further back up in the river than I thought. Than I realized. Yeah. So
but you can see the mouth way out there.
Corey's way out there. He's out of the river, out on a point in the lake.
Yeah.
To me, on the Canadian side, but yeah, the group that's the most interesting is back up in the river a little bit on that. And I would say that's on the American side too. I don't know exactly where the line is, but it may go right through there. I'm not sure, but it's.
Well, one thing about it is, it's played a factor in every one of these events we've had up here. That is that, you know, when you're talking about a community hoe, et cetera, I'm not sure if it's that drastic, but didn't you tell me you thought Jody White won our Open there?
He did.
A couple years ago.
Spot. Chris won there. I know Jody White won there. A lot of tournaments have been won.
Chris Johnson has won there before.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think that's kind of what spun him out yesterday when he's there in the same position and watching Robert G. catch 5-pounder after 5-pounder. Yeah, he's like, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. But he got his mind right and went back this morning. And now we've got like a...
looks like he's got two difference maker fish, yeah, a 6 and a 5, and he just got to fill out that limit with 4 something. So he's gonna be in great shape.
Who's that, Robert or
Chris? Yeah. So he's got a 6 and a 5, and I saw a couple of 3s at one point, but yeah, those 3s may be 3. They may be. Anyway, I didn't get to see all that go down, but I imagine they're bigger than what he's putting in there, just past history. So. But yeah, that last fish by G was a 4-4 is what they put it in as. So I looked at it during the break. Yeah.
They still got a lot of fishing left too, so.
Yes, yeah, they're just getting started good, really. I mean.
Oh yeah.
So these guys don't have to get fuel, right? They're not going out into the lake.
You have to tell us that because I don't know.
I think they'd have to get.
They might have, depending on the boat, I guess. My boat, I wouldn't even. I don't know that I would need to.
Right.
We saw Corey gas up earlier, and
yeah, Corey's on the Canadian side, outside the river for sure. So he's way out there.
I know I was 20 miles in the lake and I was only fueling up once, and I still had like a quarter tank when I got back.
So yeah, I went all the way out to the Duck Islands and back over to the Canadian side, came back around, and
yeah,
I put in 22 gallons, came back with probably 14. So
really,
but my boat's probably the most efficient hull out there. Fastest efficiency when you're talking about. They're all running the same amount of fuel, so I go further on the same fuel than most.
So I'm still intrigued by why cloudy weather, sunny weather, et cetera, and I'd like to hear y'all's take on this. How would these smallmouth go to the bottom and tuck down there on a cloudy day? It's just the opposite of what you would assume. So tell me a little bit about what you think's going on there.
Yeah, Kobe's into the smallmouth a lot more than we are. I don't think either of us would be considered a real expert on smallmouth.
That's what makes y'all's intuition so important.
They're definitely, sight oriented. They get up there shallow on those bars in the sunshine. Typically, I feel like yesterday was almost too slick. So yeah, I could see them better than I normally could, but yeah, they'd come up and follow a swim bait, but not commit, wouldn't eat. So, but I've seen them come up burning a spinnerbait type deal on other bodies of water. So it's an afternoon deal after 1 o'clock, and they'll absolutely smoke a bait as fast as you can possibly reel it. But yeah, I don't know anything about the deep going up, going to the bottom deal. It's obvious. That's why we're sitting here talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much experience with smallmouth. Only 2 years now, but I do know the sunnier days are better. I don't have a whole lot of experience with them yet on these conditions. Largemouth, they normally it's a great day fishing for them, but smallmouth it always seems a little tougher when it's cloudy. For me, anyhow.
So there's Jacob Fouts. He's it's pretty much the AOYs between him and Chris at the moment, unless something really bad happens to both of those guys. And he's fishing a can, making a drift. I mean, it's serious. I mean, he's not that far from
right. He's out
guys.
just right up above where they are. The other two guys are. So he's fishing the same concentration of fish. So typically with river systems, the fish are in certain stretches and not others. So that's one thing I do know a little bit about is fishing moving water. So yeah, there's typically better stretches. I mean, this is on a much bigger scale than what I'm used to, but yeah, you find the right stretch and they're on everything around there. So shallow, deep. I mean, they could. I didn't spend any time over there. I caught them there 1 year. There's a big bar over there on the U.S. side that I've caught some 5-pounders off of, but never even made a cast at it. We only had 2 days of practice, so and and we were out there in that big water, so you didn't. It's hard to be efficient moving around. So,
is there anything visually, structurally, et cetera, that the cans tell you that the buoy markers are telling?
There's a shallow spot there that you're trying to keep chips off of. So there's some sort of current break. I mean, I heard him talking about fishing the actual chains, the fish relating to the chains. So yeah, that's a pattern you could probably go run all up and down the river. There's a current break, so there's a real good chance if you fished them all day, there's going to be a fish. I mean, a good bag of fish just fishing cans all day. But
yeah, pretty much any can I pulled up to all week in practice had fish on it, from the lake to the river. They were relating to the chains or the blocks that they was
it's kind of like a standing timber, I guess.
Pretty much.
Right. So
the only standing timber you got.
That's the cover, and then it's marking structure. So there's some sort of point or high spot or something everywhere where there's a can. So
if you're coming up here and you're trying to learn this place just for fun or whatever, pay attention to the buoy markers.
The buoy markers, right? Yes, they're marking something that. There's some big ships that come up through here, and
right?
They don't want to go run aground, so that's why the cans are where they are typically. I mean, there's certain stretches where they're, just marking where they need to go, but they typically don't put one if there's nothing there to hit. So So yeah, you got whatever it is, a point or a hump. The fish can be in front of it, they can be behind it, they can be out there on the tip. They can be up there shallow.
Right.
That's what I like. I like it when I can just ride around and see them. It makes it a lot easier. You just got to catch your bites. So yeah, Corey's further out in the lake, so he's probably got another 30, 40 minutes running time from where these guys are. So
yeah, I think Corey must have just got there because I seen he just caught 1 or 2. So he just started fishing. 2 at 9:20,
right? So he's just now started catching fish.
Yep. 3.5 and a 4.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of them lake guys are probably just getting there.
It would be interesting to see how many have actually gone to the lake today. Matter of fact, I can probably look that up if I were to speak.
Anyway, when you showed the map, they showed Corey out there. He was further out, but he's not out in the middle of the lake. He's over on the Canadian side. Is that Fouts hooked up? Is that who that is?
Yeah. It might have a goby or something.
It doesn't look like much, does it?
Yeah.
Oh. Perch?
That's what it looks like.
All right. So yeah, that's what I try to mimic with the glide bait sometimes up here, but it's fun to go throw it around. But hookup ratio with a mouth that big is is not where it needs to be. But man, it's fun to throw it up here.
You can see who's truly living there with it, I bet.
Yes. So yeah, those big smallmouth. I mean, the big ones like to eat perch, so they get big on the perch.
I wonder how many of them guys made it to the ducks today with the wind blowing like that. I know a lot of guys in weighing line yesterday was talking that they didn't think they'd be able to make it.
There's a lot of guys that feel like they can't do anything but try to make it, right?
Right.
That's what they were talking about. Yeah.
Desperate.
So yeah, the guy I always worry about, Patrick. What is he doing today? We need to keep him under 100 pounds.
Why?
Because we're tied. We both have 3 century bells.
So you just don't want him to have a century bell. Man, you guys.
So that's the only guy I'm really worried about. It's coming.
Everybody has their own little deal in this tournament. It's just like, I need him to make the classic. Or I need him not to make the I need him to catch 100. I need him not to.
I love Patrick. I give him a hard time, but yeah, let's keep it under 100 this time. 98's fine, but under
99's fine. There you go.
Right.
Well, we got to take a break, so maybe we come back and we'll see how Patrick is doing when we come back. So let's go to a break for the Humminbird Bassmaster Elite here at St. Lawrence River. This is the live mix. We got Steve Kennedy and Logan Latuso, and we'll be back with them in just a few minutes. So stay with us.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
Each Camus boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. Camus stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a Camus boat is about more than fishing. Camus Boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Champions, fish with Garmin.
That's me, sweetheart.
Whoa! For the second year in a row, the Bassmaster Classic finishes with a cherry on top. Finally, Christie conquers the Classic. Yeah, 2024 is Hamner time.
In the relentless pursuit of domination on the water, one name stands above the rest. TH Marine's Atlas Jackplate. The power behind champions since 2007. The driving force that propels you to victory. More winners choose Atlas. For the fisherman who demands the best, Atlas delivers. Because every move counts. More winners choose Atlas.
Skeeter boats eat, sleep, fish.
New Mega Live Imaging
shows you what's below in real time with edge-to-edge clarity and no gaps in coverage, all so you can turn must-watch detail into non-stop action. Only from Humminbird. Gear that just plain works. Cast after cast after cast. AFTCO. Any fish, any water.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graph mounts up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products, and remember, you can't beat a beatdown.
When there's miles of water in front of you and hundreds of feet below, you need a boat with the chops to dominate, no matter the conditions. With the strength and technology to overcome the elements and the competition. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time.
In 2009, it all started with this 721 Pro XP and a passion to build the best fishing platform in design, performance, and construction for all of our customers. Through the years, motors have changed. Electronics have changed. But the passion to build the best bass boat possible has not changed. Everyone at Phoenix believes we got it right the first time.
Hey, Big Rig, keep clocking in miles, pulling that horn, making us smile, rolling that load down the road all night long. Country on. Hey, cowboy, keep slinging that rope, eating that dirt, wearing that gold, break a leg rodeo, but just don't break no bones. Country on, country on and on and on and on.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan, so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
Welcome back. Live mix here at Diamond Third Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River. Now that picture was taken yesterday.
Not today.
Because it's raining here in Waddington, and raining on some of our anglers, and raining on fewer and fewer because it's heading north, right? This front's coming up the river, or coming down the river.
It's headed east, yeah. So.
And there's Patrick Walters. Now, he's not as far out there as you might think.
Right. I thought he was out in the lake somewhere. The way he was talking about sending it on stage.
Now, you know what they call that hole right there?
No.
100-pound hole.
Don't mess with me like that. He's close to being on pace.
That's not going to help him towards the 100 pounds.
They need a little bit be a little bit bigger than that to get to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he didn't put a fish up till 9:02. So and they seem to be pretty dang small. So yes. No.
Quit.
I'm sorry.
You can't root against.
No, I love him. I do. He fishes. Yeah, I like the way he fishes for sure, and I give him a hard time, so he'll get it. But some people might not.
Right.
Well, I think that it's interesting, and we just had Kyle Patrick walk up. I'm fixing to give him my headset, but I'm gonna let him look at Bass Track first and get kind of caught up. May have to refresh a little bit. But you know, this is see now it's starting to pick up
It's
rain.
picking
here.
up rain here, but
so
I think most of them are on the other side of the
Up
majority
front.
of it. So.
Yeah. So look at the Bass Track real quick here, and I'm gonna give the headset to Patrick. I want y'all to talk about how y'all feel like this will play out at the end of the day, because it's obviously different, with the exception of Robert G. and Chris Johnston.
Hey.
How are you?
We're doing well.
How you doing, Kyle?
Good, man. You know, what's funny is that one spot that out by Carlton there that those guys are fishing, that was where the Open was won last year. I don't know if I probably talked about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about all this, but yeah.
Right.
Some of y'all do.
So the reason I do is because I fished the Open last year, and I had looked around it, right, and but then Jody ended up winning on it, and in practice I went and checked it and had a ton of fish, but I couldn't really get them to bite, and I had started there on day one, and then I left and I came back and Rob Gee was like, yeah, I got 25 pounds. And you know, it is what it is. I guess I just didn't understand the small details, but I knew that today, or I figured that today with the weather situation, that the guys that could get on that are because I mean those are lake quality fish that are there that we're seeing caught, right?
And they're not out in the big lakes. So.
Right, exactly. So that weather is going to play into, you know, Rob, and I think is Chris there too. Chris is there, I assume. So.
Yeah, Chris, Trey. Yeah. I think you got Fouts right north of them on the
Oh,
Red
really?
Canyon. They kind of all right there in one little area.
Yeah.
And Chris has got a 6 and a 5 on the board, which.
That helps.
Yeah, right. So he's got two difference makers. Yeah, if he fills out those 4 pluses, he's in. And I said it earlier. He's in control of his own destiny. He's the only guy that is in this field. So.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the weights? Did you? I had said that I thought 19 a day would have been decent coming out of Waddington, though. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, you're losing at least minimum 2 hours filling up and everything. You're losing 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, even going to there, where they're fishing, you still have to fill up. At least I did. You know, with a 50-gallon tank, you still have to fill up there. So.
Yes, you should.
I mean, it's crazy, the weights.
We talked about that, like me, Caleb, and Lee throughout the week. Like, weights might be a little bit lower, but still 3/4 of the field went to the lake or in the lake. And it don't matter. The weights are the same. The fishery is just that great. There's that many big fish.
Yeah.
You know? And like we said, how many thousands of 4 and 5 pounders are you riding over? Because the river's full of them.
The river's full of them. But
man, that river.
But getting
though,
to 25 in the river
yeah,
is not very common.
Yeah, it's hard. Do you know that A1 I caught was in the river?
Was it really? Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a giant.
Dude, that fish, so it was, you know, near Carlton, but back. It was in that Clayton area. I mean, that's, to your point, the river has giants too. But I just think it's really hard to be consistent because of how the current affects the way. First of all, your positioning on the fish. It's hard to maneuver in the current and be, you know, especially if you're using forward-facing sonar. Like, there's a lot of factors that the river adds. Where if the lake's flat, I mean, you don't need to worry about, you know, all the current. You need to worry about.
It's not easy, too, because it's like when you're taking them over the bow, it's not easy to look at them over there. So
yeah, no, you're right.
Some of these guys can do it. I'm amazed at what they can do.
Yeah.
In these kind of conditions. So
I got to get better in that big water, man. I've never like. People assume I'm from New York, so it's
I
like.
figured you a smallmouth guru.
No, I never have been, and I think that's why I've been successful around the country. Is I've always stuck with largemouth, and I think sometimes people that really focus on smallmouth have trouble moving into like those southern largemouth, you know, bodies of water, Florida strain, like all that. But no, smallmouth are my nemesis, man. I can't figure out how to catch them.
So yeah, people don't. I mean, you don't get to see it here, but this is an incredible largemouth fishery up here. 18 to 20 pounds.
Yep.
I can go throw my big live bait. I can have a blast, but you're gonna get beat. That's
yeah.
You have to be doing what these guys are doing out there close to the lake, fishing up for those fish. They're just bigger in general.
Yeah,
so,
I have seen some incredible largemouth bags here, like even pushing 25. But it's really hard with 3 days of practice, I think, because they're spread out from my understanding. Like you have a section that's really good, and then you have to, you know, make a long run to another little section that's really good, and then make a long. So, you know, obviously you probably have a ton of experience on this body of
I
water.
haven't gone, not largemouth. No, they've never played. So I was the first guy. The first time we came, I was the guy that fished up shallow. None of our guys really knew that was a deal, and I didn't either. I went over to fish some reeds. I was island over to fish for largemouth, and I saw a smallmouth swim by, sitting down in the seat, and then I saw another one swim by, and then I stood up, and there's like 10 or 15 of them. I'm like, so I had all that to myself for. I thought I finished third, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I know I had a top 10.
Well, we saw Brock do. I mean, he had 1 or 2 smallmouth in his bag in 2021, was it? Or,
right.
Brock almost won one.
But he almost won.
Almost won with it right there at Clayton.
Yeah.
But what were the weights then? They weren't.
No.
They're not they're not what we're seeing now. The last. So.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, they can play. I remember. I think it was John Murray brought in a 6 something. He had big fish one year.
Well, Tyler just weighed in 21 change of all largemouth with a 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I didn't even know that.
I mean, he made the day on all largemouth.
Wow.
So I had a 23-pound bag with 2 largemouth in it one year. I caught 19 pounds of largemouth in no time on a glide. And, it was incredible, but it was only 19 pounds. And then I went out I went over there and fished that big bar off the side of where these guys are. So yeah, there's a big, you know what I'm talking about? There's a big bar coming off the shore over there. And I see. There's a big area.
Yep,
but yeah, I caught 2 5-pounders out there. It was slick enough that I could see and caught them on that little fly up there.
Yeah.
But
on the
ended up
G-Rat.
right. Well, I caught them on the G-Rat. I had 19 pounds. I caught them in a hurry, dude. It was fun. I had 2 4.5-pounders, and
that's awesome.
But I did, like you said, I didn't have any other fish to go to. I had no idea where to go do it any other place. So
well, it's funny. That's sort of how Rob. He doesn't have anywhere else. He was saying this on live. Is Rob Gee literally has. That is his spot. That's the only spot he had. But, I mean, when you have one spot that produces 25 a day.
There's fish on every spot here.
Right. Right.
Oh, wow. Did he really? Is this live? So he's. So he lost 3 earlier when the other guys were talking. If that's number 4.
What?
He's
I wonder if they're
shaking his
just
head.
biting it differently today. With
the conditions.
Yeah.
I don't know what bait he's using. We might get to see it here. That camera works pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is. Because what I found with smallmouth is like I lose a lot of them on certain days, and then certain days you just can't lose them.
Right.
And I think it's something with the way they nip at it. Like when you're drifting, you feel like sometimes you just feel like the little perch bite, like and then they come off it. I wonder if that's what he's dealing with now. Because you said that's his 3rd.
Probably 4. 4.
Wow.
So they were talking about 3 earlier when I was watching. Yeah, that was probably his 4th one.
Yesterday I caught every single one right here.
Yeah, that's
same
crazy.
thing. Never even lost
So you
every
drop shot.
bite.
Correct. Yeah.
I didn't even have one like kind of sniff it, and I'm like, oh, I bet that was a big one. Nah. It was just as soon as I feel them, they'd have it down their throat.
Wasn't losing.
The intricate details of smallmouth fishing is impressive.
I know, like day one for me, like in the morning, like 11:30, I had like 14 pounds, and then after that, they started biting. You know, like they would commit, they would bite, and then you got up to 21 real quick.
Yeah.
There's definitely a window when they bite. So if you're not on your stuff at the right time, it's. But yeah, you're talking about catch them all or not. I just miss them. These guys are big for a reason. They are bad dudes. There's no question. They are bad dudes. And if you throw a bait with any kind of weight to it, they can straighten hooks. They can throw it.
Yeah.
It's pretty it's pretty awesome.
It is. 100%.
Awesome fish.
We're going to take a break here, maybe let Trey McKinney reload a little bit, and obviously he's having the day that Chris Johnson had yesterday, and as I've seen just about everybody have at some point in time in the past. But we're going to take a break here on the live mix at the Humminbird Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River. We hope you stay with us. We got Kyle Patrick, Steve Kennedy, and Logan Latuso. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
That's a big one. Yep, good one. That's so cool.
It don't get any better than that.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure, and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
GLX embodies our relentless drive to continuously refine. To empower you with tournament-ready tools to be the best at what you do. Proudly handcrafted in Woodland, Washington.
The newest addition to the Basscat STS family is here. Introducing the Caracal STS, showcasing aggressive styling, paired with enhanced performance and a continued dedication to raising the bar. Measuring in at 20 feet 2 inches with an ultra-wide 96-inch beam and rated for a 250 to 300 horsepower engine, the Caracal STS boasts agility and speed and is finished with premium features to satisfy any angler. Basscat Boats. Feel the rush.
In the world of smallmouth bass fishing, success lies in the details. Finesse presentations require light line for maximum bait action, triggering strikes in clear waters. And dealing with big smallmouth in their environment, it means your line has to deliver. Trust products like AMZ, Assegai, and Overwatch, matched with FC Leader, V-Heart, and FC Sniper for a fishing arsenal that delivers. Sunline, the strength to guarantee your confidence.
We've innovated one of the most popular techniques right now, and that's the jigging minnow. This is a new style of bait with a cup belly. No one's doing it, and we're really excited to bring this to you. What it does is it has random darting action when you twitch it. It also spirals down. Those are two types of actions that smallmouth really love. Those fish that otherwise wouldn't commit, those ones are gonna bite because they haven't seen this before.
Nitro, a rush of tournament adrenaline. Nitro, the choice of champion, where performance meets play. Nitro, a big water beast, a pure fishing machine. Nitro, release the champion within.
Essential is defined as an item that is absolutely necessary. Spro has a long history of understanding the essential lures an angler needs, and now they've made it easy for fishermen to pick up essential fishing lures, those that are absolutely necessary, with the creation of the Spro Essential lineup of lures. Find the Spro Essential series at your favorite tackle dealer, or look them up on the Spro website.
Think you know fishing? Time to prove it. Bassmaster has 2 fantasy games giving you even more opportunities to win. Play Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing and the Falcon Rods Bassmaster Drain the Lake Challenge for a chance to win some great prizes, including a $15,000 shopping spree at Bass Pro Shops, a trip to the 2025 Classic, or a fishing trip with Luke Palmer. Every tournament is a chance to win, and there's more than $90,000 in prizes to be won in 2024. You can't win if you don't play, plus it's free. For details, sign up and play all season. Visit BassmasterFantasy.com.
Each Camus boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. Camus stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a Camus boat is about more than fishing. Camus Boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
More than a simple spy, the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams are your covert analysts in the field. SD card-free, built-in memory. Onboard Moultrie AI for false trigger reduction. Cloud-based AI for detailed tagging and filtering. You don't just get high-resolution photos and videos. You get access to our easy-to-use app, arming you with game plan, weather forecasts, and mapping, so you know when and where to hunt. Don't just capture images. Gather intelligence.
This is Bassmaster Live Mix. I'm Kyle Patrick here with the famous Steve Kennedy and Logan Latuso. Soon to be, no, he's famous. Come on, Steve. He's famous.
Trying to be. Trying to be.
Oh, man. No, but covering, Corey's out in the lake. We're covering, our biggest news here, Jordan Lee just moved up to second place. He caught a 5-pounder and a 5.6, really close to each other, with a bunch of room to move up with that 2-pounder. Logan and Steve, we were talking about this. He's at 20 pounds, 10 ounces. That's a good bag in the river. I mean, it is. We saw this week 20 pounds not really play out as I thought it would. but
that's hard to say, isn't it?
It is. It really hurts me. I had 19-12 on day one, and I was like, dang, I caught him. And then I came in and said, just kidding. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, 20 pounds is pretty good, and I thought it was for the river. But with the lake in play, it's not as good. But we're obviously, with the weather, we're seeing that the lake really isn't in play except for Corey.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
That looks like fun.
I feel like them guys just know what rock they get on when it gets this windy, like where us, we got to kind of go and scope and look for them, and like they know where to be, when to be, and how to fish them in those big waves.
Yeah, that's impressive right there because,
cracking them.
No, it is impressive right there. Like that, like you said, I think having
that's some big waves.
Those are big waves. Having that knowledge on that lake that the Johnson brothers do, it's invaluable on a day like today. That's where it really plays. The little, especially when it comes to simply running out there. I mean, they know the exact route they can get to it without, totally destroying their boat, and then all the way down to the little rock pile or boulder that those fish move to when it's like this.
So yeah,